Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back.
Hello
BoreDraw.
to the 4,000 people watching.
Big shout out
Come
to everyone
on.
that's got us to 4,000. As you can tell, we are gassed.
We are.
Literally recording day of we hit 4,000. So thank you very much to everyone. But ladies and gentlemen, it's episode
68, baby.
68, baby. One before the magic number.
Come on.
And we are going to be discussing a little bit of what happened in the Premier League this weekend. We had 8 games on Saturday, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Not hardly any Friday kickoffs now.
What were we doing Saturday? We were at the horse racing, saw Big John. Bosh. So that was exciting. And then finished just in time to watch the mighty Arsenal put in an absolute stinker of a performance against Chelsea.
For like the first 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Then Sanchez decided to do what he does best. But we'll talk about that. But yeah, big shout out to everyone who has subscribed so far. The journey continues. The content is coming. We've got some big things lined up.
Some special guests, some big plans. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too late to subscribe.
Quick, yeah. But yeah, let's get straight into it. It was Arsenal away at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. Mauricio Pochettino's somewhat rising Chelsea team, who have been poor for a long, long time.
Yeah, they've had some good performances this season. And I'd say their position in the league doesn't represent those performances. But points don't lie. You can play as good as you want. If you don't get points on the board, it means nothing. I think United are going through a similar problem at the moment where they're playing all right, but they're not putting their chances away. Chelsea got a similar problem.
Chelsea had that issue. They've had it since sort of maybe Diego Costa left. Lack of consistent goal scorer. And they bought in a lot of players, spent a lot of money, and have spent over £1 billion Great British pounds and not have someone who can put the ball in the back of net is kind of outstanding and maybe deserves some plaudits.
Not from me.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
how do you spend £1 billion and can't get a goal scorer? I don't know. They bought in Nicholas Jackson, who was on the bench this game.
Yeah.
Someone who sort of made a weird signing late on in the window was Cole Palmer, 45 million, which I thought he might have gone for more.
Oh, I don't know. I thought 45 million for someone that I think probably had maybe like 5 Premier appearances.
Mate, but they sold like
too much. Yeah, they sell their academy products for a lot. But like, why are Prem teams stupid enough to buy Man City products for that much?
He is turning up.
But as much as I was surprised about the Cole Palmer move and kind of the high fee and
the move was what's surprising.
Him being Chelsea's kind of like central number 10. He's impressing me.
Yeah, he's out. I think he's so good. I think he's just effective.
And now I see why he left City, because there's no way he's getting into that role at the City team. Because he'd be behind Silva, behind Foden, behind Alvarez, behind De Bruyne. I
always saw him as more of a winger.
Yeah, so did I.
And I think that was sort of where he started.
Yeah, but that must be the only place that City could get him in.
But yeah, I think he's outrageous.
Yeah, because he's under 21s he plays kind of centrally, doesn't he?
He reminds me a little bit of Harvey Barnes. Like, he's effective.
Harvey Barnes.
He's effective and he's just got really good output.
Yeah.
He's not just doing like skills and like making runs for the hell of it. Everything he does is effective. He makes something out of everything.
Yeah.
Which you rarely see now in especially young players who like to take a lot of touch on the ball and end up sort of playing it backwards.
Yeah, but especially coming from that City team where it's just like recycle.
Exactly. But yeah, Chelsea obviously are struggling. I think they were in 12 plays before this game kicked off. They had a good performance against Fulham after having a month where they didn't. I think they scored 1 goal in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
And then they scored, 3 or 4 against Fulham?
Yeah, 3 I think it was.
And then, gone on to score 2 against Arsenal. They win the week before international break, or was that the Fulham game?
No, that was I can't remember what it was. No, I think they drew.
Seems like a long time ago. But yeah, the signs are there of an improving team.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing. Players that I was questioning at the start of the season, Mudryk. I was questioning Cole Palmer. I was questioning Conor Gallagher. These players are now starting to hit a nice run of form. They're starting to gel. I think Pochettino's found his kind of starting 11 now. And I really like this kind of formation where I don't think Gallagher has enough output as that number 10. But if you pair him with Cole Palmer as also number 10, so they're playing kind of like a box midfield which absolutely overran Arsenal in the game. They played a box midfield of Enzo and Caicedo, and then in front of them, Conor Gallagher and Cole Palmer. And Cole Palmer was kind of playing as like a false 9, if anything. And then you got Mudryk and Sterling on the wings. But yeah, that box midfield, Gallagher, I've said this time and time again on the podcast. His output's meh, but he will give you work rate.
Work rate is insane. And like a double pivot of Caicedo and Enzo, we've seen what they can do. I know Caicedo was getting some pelters at the beginning of his Chelsea career. Yeah. And Enzo's sort of maybe flown under the radar for his price tag, but you always knew the quality was there. I think they're going to start seeing dividends from that pivot there. It's going to be such a solid point for them. I think Malo Gusto was really good up until the latter stages of the game.
Same with Cucurella. I think he had a really good game. And yeah, I think Chelsea are starting to get into their groove. And my only worry is that they're kind of, because they're putting so many players in that midfield, 4 players, and you're asking Cole Palmer to do that false 9, it's taking out the opportunity to play number 9. That's why Nicholas Jackson starts on the bench. So you're expecting a lot of goals from Mudryk and Sterling and Cole Palmer. And as much as I think Cole Palmer's on a good run of form, Mudryk's hitting form, Sterling's always going to get you goals. I don't think any one of those 3 is going to make up enough to
I don't think any one of them gets over like 15 goals.
Exactly. So that formation works because it'll overrun teams in the midfield, but you're always going to struggle to score.
If they each get 12 goals, Cole Palmer, Mudryk and Sterling, they've scored the same amount as Haaland did last season.
Exactly. And I think that is an issue because as good as Chelsea were this game, their goals came from Arsenal mistakes. Saliba handball in the box. I don't know if it should have been a pen. He kind of gets it headed at his hand from like the same distance that we are away from each other. So that one's questionable. And then Raya kind of coming off his line. Mudryk kind of lobbing him.
I've seen you said that there's no way he meant it.
Absolutely no way he meant that.
I don't know.
Pochettino is so quick in the post-match to be like, oh, he meant that.
I think he does look up twice, though.
Bollocks.
You'll never really know, but he looks up twice.
My guy...
And apparently, these are rumours.
That he's been trained to, like...
No, apparently, Chelsea's goalkeeping coach...
Yeah.
On analysis of David Raya said he's always off his line. Look for it.
I get the concept, but my guy Mudryk, we've seen nothing in the Prem to show that he has enough tech about him to, while he's low on confidence as well, he would just never in a million years think that's a good decision. He would.
I don't know.
There's no way. No way.
I mean, to whiff the cross like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
exactly what
if you look at how he hits it looks quite clean. Is it clean, or is he like trying to put it towards the back post?
Yeah,
I don't think it makes sense to where anyone's in the box.
It's a scuff cross that's gone in.
Regardless, David Raya's the one at fault here.
Yeah, clown. So yeah, 2 points from that. One is that Chelsea's goals come from Arsenal mistakes. So that box midfield, as much as it will overrun teams, and it is a good foundation for a starting 11. You've got to question where these goals are going to come from for Chelsea. Another talking point is David Raya. And actually just the goalkeeping in general this game. Because the goalkeeping in general this game was fucking diabolical for 2 teams that are in the Big Six and pushing for Champions League football. This is stinky goalkeeping. We'll start with the Raya versus Ramsdale debate. And then we'll talk about Sanchez.
This is a good topic as well. Because we're going to be releasing a Premier League goalkeeper ranked tier list video out on Friday, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah,
right, Sancho Raya versus Ramsdale.
Yes, so Ramsdale started the season. Raya came in after a few games. I would say he's been up and down. He's had some good moments. He's had some bad moments. He's had the first half against Man City was so bad. Second half against Man City was so good. He's had a few clean sheets. He's had some good distribution, some good saves. I think he's done like an outrageous save against Spurs. He's been there. He has made a lot of mistakes.
It's very inconsistent.
It's very inconsistent. And I don't know. Arteta said after the City game, he likes that Raya tries things.
He's got balls.
He's got balls. He's brave enough to try things even if they don't come off. Like he tried to pass out to the edge of the box in the Chelsea game. Cole Palmer intercepted. Tried to go around him and he saved it again. But
you can only get away with so many mistakes.
teams that are more clinical, like I was talking about Chelsea and how like there's not enough goals in that team. Teams where
if you went
there
to
is
Newcastle
a lot of goals,
did that,
yeah, teams
Newcastle
like
would slap you
Newcastle,
up.
Man City, Liverpool. If you do that to Salah, if you do that to Haaland or De Bruyne,
mate, they're going to field
goal every single time. And so you've got to question the risk versus reward balance. And I'm not saying Ramsdale doesn't do those mistakes. He does them probably about the same amount.
But
of
he
times,
doesn't.
really.
He's not as brave on the ball. He's not going to try those passes.
So it's one for the Arsenal fans out there, because I think after the last few games, Ramsdale for me, we're playing Champions League tonight when this comes out. Ramsdale for me starts that Champions League game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Raya signing was unnecessary, but I rated it at the time because I like the idea of Ramsdale's good, but we want to be better.
Yeah,
and you show that to everyone in the squad that if you're not up to scratch, there will be someone else who will be, and we can bring people in, which is fine. But then he wants to do this thing where he balances the keeper and he uses them in different situations. I think you've got issues elsewhere where you could be dealing with. He's got to be looking at getting Odegaard more involved, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't think Odegaard's played bad, but I want to see more.
I agree.
We've seen it before. The season where he takes games by the scruff of the neck and he's good. Don't be worried about the goal. Ramsdale was fine last season. He was fine. He had a bit of a sloppy end of the season, but so did Arsenal.
Yeah.
That you lost Saliba, and we noticed that Rob Holding was not up to par.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. That's just the standard.
It is indeed. Yeah.
You lost Tomiyasu as well at that point, so you had a makeshift back four. So obviously your keeper's going to suffer as a result of that.
That's true. That's very true.
So for me, I think Arteta's gone too far down this rabbit hole. He's semi-shot himself in the foot here, and I think he has to stick it out with Ryan now.
Yeah, I agree. I think if Ramsdale doesn't get this Champions League start next game, if Raya, after a pretty shaky performance, I'd say one of his worst, that's probably it for Ramsdale.
I mean, he's saying one of its worst though, and he's only had about 5 appearances.
I know, yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? Time will tell, and I think he's either going to really excel when teams try and exploit him as a weakness. Like if you say you're playing against Liverpool and they're going to have like Nunez pressing him immediately anytime he gets the ball, he might be really effective and take 2-3 players out of the game with a single pass.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And you're going to have like this fantastic amount of space in like that deeper channel to work with. So immediately, if Nunez pushes out, and then you've got all that space in behind Nunez and sort of like the Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, whoever's there. You've got a lot of space to work with there. They come out. You're creating that space further and further up the pitch. So it could pay dividends, but only time will tell. For me, he's got to stick with him.
Yeah. And then at the other end of the pitch, Robert Sanchez.
Doing his KSI impression.
No. So firstly, he should have been sent off anyway. He came out to claim a cross and absolutely fucking twatted Gabriel Jesus.
Was it Onana who done this early in the season as well?
And got away with it. And I don't know if the referees are now just being like, oh, because Onana got away with it, we made a mistake there. We've just got to allow keepers to come out and punch players in the face.
If you come out and you Superman punch the ball and miss,
yeah,
and you hit a player in the face, I don't understand how that's not a red card.
They didn't even stop the game for a head injury. I was like, and I was watching Match of the Day to kind of see if they spoke about it, and fair to Micah Richards and Alan Shearer, they're both like, yeah, that should have been a red card. Because he just comes out and his entire body weight just smashes Jesus in the face. And I was like, he's lucky not to be like concussed.
If you were out on the pitch, yeah, and you're a defender and you run in and you fully commit to a tackle with your leg raised, like his arm was,
yeah, you're
getting sent off if you don't make contact with the ball.
It reminds me of, do you remember that game where City played Liverpool and Sadio Mane kind of
elbowed,
and took out Ederson? It was like that the opposite way around. It just twatted Gabriel Jesus. So he should have been off for that. And then, not to mention like the sloppy passes, the pass out that Declan Rice intercepted and scored from. It's a bad day for the goalkeepers in this game.
Yeah, he was. I rated him at Brighton.
Yeah, so did I.
But
maybe the spotlight is too bright.
Maybe it's just the Chelsea effect, because we saw Mendy fell off hard. Kepa fell off, then sort of came back. Even Courtois, who went on to be brilliant at Real Madrid until his injury, wasn't really that great at Chelsea. He was all right.
Yeah.
He was probably one of the better keepers in the league, but he wasn't like outstanding. We haven't seen a great Chelsea keeper since Czech.
Yeah, facts.
But, you know, how many great keepers have we actually seen in the Premier League? I'm thinking Alisson, De Gea during his prime.
Yeah, maybe Edison if you're being generous.
Edison, yeah, but outrageous keepers.
Yeah.
Like the likes of Neuer, a Buffon. Mad. Victor Valdez.
What a guy. Just want to touch on, before we move on to the next game, Arteta's substitutions. He normally gets berated for making late substitutions or non-effective substitutions. His substitutions today were... Oh, not today. During the game, were bloody buzzing. Kai Havertz, I want to talk about him.
Guys.
Because he's been slandered his first, 10 games. But his last 2 or 3 substitute appearances off the bench have been really good.
I think it's good when he can see the game before he gets into it.
Because he came on against City when it was 0-0, played up top, had Tomiyasu to bounce off him, and that's how we got the goal in the City game. Similar in the Chelsea game, played him up. He came on up top, started knitting the passes together up top. That's how we got our second goal. He took it down, gave it out to Saka crossed it to Trossard. So I think Kai Havertz, the kind of left centre mid role, it was a good experiment. I don't think that's the one. I think he is meant to be like a shadow striker, number 9.
I think the game's...
But is he good enough to do that full time?
The game's too complicated in the middle of the pitch for him. It doesn't play to his strengths. I think he's better as an outball.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's what we've seen with his substitute appearances. He just comes on up top. He's very physical, takes it down.
Simplify his role.
Yeah.
Especially for now, when he's trying to build confidence.
Yeah.
Simplify his role and give him opportunities to get the output.
Yeah.
The output is what's going to give him confidence. Yeah. He's not going to get that as much from centre midfield, where he's been asked to provide the output.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
For me, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, stinky result for both teams, I think. Chelsea would be gutted not to come away with 3 points, and Arsenal would have been a little bit shaken after their early performance, but probably glad to take a point away and keep their unbeaten record. We are filming this Monday evening, just before Spurs had kicked off against Fulham. Spurs could be top of the table.
Oh, God.
Another team who are absolutely flying, quite like Spurs, are Aston Villa. Unai Emery.
We've been talking about him a lot.
He's doing a madness. I sat down to watch this game. I had a nice little Sunday roast. It's like 4:30, and I was thinking, good evening, chill out, watch the football. And West Ham started, and in about 2 minutes, I thought they were going to score. And then Bowen hit like a volley from outside the box, tested Martinez a little bit. I was thinking, West Ham look good here. I like their all-white kit, looking good. And Villa sort of adapted very well. They were trying to play this quite high-tempo game, and then realised they're doing that's playing into West Ham's sort of their game plan. So they slowed the tempo right down and just started pulling West Ham apart. Ollie Watkins, outrageous.
I really like West Ham. Man.
Outrageous.
Not West Ham, Aston Villa. I don't want to say it.
You notoriously hate West Ham.
Yeah, I hate both these teams, but they're both good. But Aston Villa are kind of like a level above at the moment. I think they've just got a better manager tactically. I think their squad is probably slightly better, and you're seeing it pay dividends. I think a lot of it is down to Unai Emery, who I think is
elite,
one of the elite managers in the Premier
manager
League.
Who was so disrespected in his time here by a certain fan base.
What are you talking about? But yeah, well, it's the spotlights are too bright when you're at the big 6 teams. But he is an elite manager, and he is working wonders with this Aston Villa team. He plays this very compact 4-2-2-2, and then at the base of it, you've got Douglas Luiz, who we waxed lyrical last week on the podcast.
Just think he's so good,
so good.
I genuinely think he might be like a top 4 DM in the league.
And he fucking bagged 2 in this game. After
he scored like 6 his last 7 appearances.
Yeah, he's top
Villa.
Top goal scoring midfielder in the Prem.
He's outrageous.
So that's wild. And then alongside him, you've got Boubacar Kamara, who, for a free transfer, is probably one of the best.
Does he take corners?
Who? Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, because I remember he scored a couple of corners.
Yeah, every corner he takes, I swear down, he tries to score. It's crazy.
I love it.
But so yeah, those two as like the deepest midfielders. Boubacar Kamara, one of the best defensive midfielders in the league, just goes so under the radar because he was a free transfer. And then in front of them, you've got The next kind of phase of the midfield, the kind of narrow, in this game it was John McGinn and Zaniolo. Zaniolo, I think, another really good transfer. He's big, physical, technically excellent.
Yeah, I think for me, I really liked him, but he loses composure in that final third a little bit for me. But I think that comes with time.
Yeah.
When he learns about how the movement
alongside him, you got John McGinn, who's just endless work rate. What a guy.
Oh, McGinn is so good. He's like Gallagher.
McGallagher.
He's like Conor Gallagher on steroids.
Yeah. Slightly better. More experience, maybe. But, yeah, those two are quality. And then in front of them, you got Diaby and Watkins, who are just two elite forwards. And then that kind of like central...
The spine.
Yeah, that spine of the team. If you take on a team that focuses a lot of the middle of the park, Aston Villa are going to dominate you.
Shut down.
Aston Villa are going to dominate you. And that's what we saw against Brighton. They play a lot of their like movements in the centre of the pitch. Aston Villa will shut you down. They'll win the ball back and transition quickly. Same here against West Ham. You can't. Once you take James Ward-Prowse, you take Paquetá, you take Edson Alvarez out of the game, Aston Villa will kill you.
I think what's good as well is that for Unai Emery, when he was at Arsenal, teams would come out and they wouldn't want to play against him. So he was forced to play this quite boring, possession-based football. Here, teams are seeing it's Aston Villa. It's not like they're going to go and take a big scalp. Yeah. So they come out and try and play their football. And he's just got their number every time.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really good point, actually. Yeah. Because at Arsenal, you're expected to be the dominant team. But where I think he likes being kind of, not the underdog every single time, but he likes going toe-to-toe with teams and tactically outsmarting them.
And I think as well, he's allowing Matty Cash to get really high up the pitch. Matty Cash has effectively played like a right winger for a lot of the time.
Well, when you've got such a compact vertical team, the wing backs are key, and Digne's quality.
Digne had a bit of a torrid time
under Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, and we've sort of always known his class. He was sort of a walking yellow card even at Everton, but he seems to have like matured quite a lot.
Yeah,
and Matty Cash, we know he can do one of the most underrated fullbacks in the league, both our opinions, I think.
And then let's talk about fucking the centre two of Ezri Konsa and Pau Torres. That is. I said it at the start of the season. I said that is a bloody good defensive duo.
And I know you're not his biggest fan, but Emi Martinez in goal.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about Tyrone Mings.
World Cup winning goalkeeper, and he's got pedigree. He's a voice. He's a leader.
As far as starting 11 goes, that is a very all of those players. If you keep all of those fit, it's a very.
It just screams understated.
They'll do something special this season.
Oh mate, they're absolutely fine. I think they're literally like a few wins off of Aston Villa's all-time record when they were like brilliant in the 80s. Like European champions, Aston Villa.
Villa fans, let us know, what are you hoping for? Is Champions League too ambitious, or is that what you're hoping for?
I did hear some young fan on TalkSport saying that everything that they've seen so far this season suggests that they deserve Champions League.
Oh.
I think that's a big mistake to make. No one deserves Champions League.
Bit too early to start talking about deserving.
And you well done. You've beaten Brighton and West Ham convincingly, which is outrageous, but their team's still to play. There's a lot of games still to go. We're less than a quarter of the way through the season.
But they are playing very well. And for me, I think they're in the race for Champions League football.
I think they're doing well, but I worry about their depth in certain areas. If they lose an Ollie Watkins...
Yeah, if they lose an Ollie Watkins, if they lose Diaby, maybe an Ezri Konsa, it could be long.
They've got the Brazilian boy.
Diego Carlos, yeah.
And even Mings is capable of stepping. He's not of Pau Torres or Ezri Konsa's standard, but Leon Bailey came on.
Yeah, got a good goal.
Yeah, good, outrageous goal. But yeah, I do worry a little bit about their depth. I worry about them getting a little bit ahead of themselves.
Yes. Well, I hope there's a downfall because I don't like Aston Villa. But I say it as I see it. They're playing good football, and in my opinion, they're the most exciting team in the league at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the results would say that.
I think, what is it, like 6, then 3, and then 4 they scored in their last few home games?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And Ollie Watkins, can we just talk about him for a minute?
Yeah, what a guy.
Could we start him at a left wing for England?
Yeah, you know what? That's not even a bad shout.
Because I fail to see another left winger who's doing more than him.
Yeah.
He's, for me, best English player in the league at the minute.
Because the only other option is Rashford, who's got 1 goal all season. So
or Grealish, who's getting absolutely dumped out by Doku.
That's it. Yeah, I've posted on Twitter. I said it's uncomfortable times because Doku got man of the match, and he was quality. And I was watching this compilation of him, and I was like, Oh, that is uncomfortable times for Jack Grealish.
Pep is absolutely rimming him as well, which is
so...
not a good sign. The Grealish-Phillips alliance could be swiftly exiting the Etihad. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, Calvin Phillips. So let's quickly talk about City before we wrap up. I'm still not convinced
about
Man City.
Yeah, no, neither am I.
Obviously, the last few games they had no Rodri.
They're worse than last season. I think for me that's not a debate. They are worse than last season.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
Which is weird.
They've lost Gundogan and Mahrez. Mahrez, I think, yes, he's quality, important. But like I don't think he's the reason they're worse. But I don't understand. Like Gundogan, I think is one of the most elite midfielders in world football. But how is he the sole reason it's got worse? It is him, isn't it?
Yeah, and also
maybe De Bruyne being out.
I want to say De Bruyne being out.
Yeah, as much as I think
he's still the best midfielder in the Premier League on his day.
He's still an output machine, isn't he?
I haven't been impressed by Bernardo Silva this season.
No, I haven't been impressed by Haaland. He got a nice goal though on the weekend.
Yeah, for me, I think Pep's asking different players to step up, and it's not quite working. We're seeing their patterns of play have changed a lot since bringing in Kovacic into the middle, who I don't think's quite up to Pep's standard. But Pep is playing him anyway. Their back four look less composed than I've seen them for a very long time.
Yeah, Johnny Stones is finally back, so maybe that'll change it up. I don't know why Ederson didn't start this game, because Ortega started. He had a good game, actually.
Yeah, Ortega's all right.
Yeah.
He's better than Zach Stefan.
Yeah. I think they fucked off Zach Stefan.
Yeah, he made just howlers after howlers, poor guy. But yeah, I don't know. They just... The problem is, they're sitting top of the league as we film this.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about Man City.
Yeah.
We're not impressed by them. But yet,
still top of the league.
They're on 21 points.
And then, and then they'll start in January kicking on. And they'll win the league.
You know that, from maybe middle of December, when the games come thick and fast, their squad depth proves dividends. And they'll fly and they'll be 8 points ahead by, March.
100%, yeah.
And that's it. That's what happens. So, time will tell. I'm still yet to be impressed. I think for Calvin Phillips, the journey's over.
I agree.
But this is the time for him to
reignite his career.
Yeah, I think even like Liverpool wouldn't be a bad shout.
No, I think Newcastle are interested.
Yeah, I mean Tonali might be out for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is a shame. But do be a sticky one still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Calvin Phillips would be. I think he's got enough about him to be a top 6 asset.
Yeah.
Not a star player.
I agree.
You don't want him to be your star player.
No.
But I think, even maybe like Man United could use him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he walks into that Man United midfield. And we were talking about this with Douglas Luiz. And we might as well get on to Man United because they had a 2-1 victory against a all-right Sheffield United. But I don't know if they looked all-right because Man United make them look all-right. Or if they're actually, were...
I mean, Man United made Burnley look like prime Barcelona.
That's what I'm saying. So, as much as it's a good result for Man United, I said this week after week, all these wins they're getting against Brentford, against Sheffield United, against Burnley, just papering over cracks because they haven't actually been that good.
Yeah, for me, it's a weird one. Harry Maguire was good, I thought.
He was, yeah.
And I think Ten Hag came out after the game and gave him some good praise, which is always nice to see.
A pat on the back.
Harry Maguire is someone I think every English football fan wants to see succeed.
I want him to get his smile back.
Yeah, I mean, he's done so much for us, and he was really good at one point.
He is good. I don't know.
Is he just an old-fashioned defender?
He's just, I don't know. I think his kind of stock at United is so low, and his kind of relationship with the fans is so low that, it's hard to... It's kind of... He hasn't done what Xhaka did when Xhaka lenged the Arsenal shirt on the floor.
Also, did you see that Xhaka goal in training?
No. Oh, where he dinked it over the...
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, his relationship is kind of like that, where it's so low that anything he does, the fans are on him. And that's got to be a hard place mentally that, you're second-guessing everything.
Do you know what's a harder place to be? in front of that. Oh no.
Yeah,
that's a much harder place to be.
So bad.
But yeah, I don't know. There's, you know how we were talking about Emery earlier and saying that like teams wanted to come and like play against Arsenal, or didn't want to play properly against Arsenal. They would like play this weird, like uncomfortable style of play. Man United, obviously, especially for like smaller clubs, or not small clubs, but clubs that have just been promoted and things like that. Going to Old Trafford or playing against Man United even at home,
scary.
You put on a performance. Like a lot of teams will go, and unless United start really strong, the other team wants it more. For United, it's Sheffield United. They just expect to beat them.
Yeah, true.
And this is a Man United team which aren't as good as the like back in Alex Ferguson's day, where they would be able to slap every team, any team. They have to actually play and work for their results at the minute.
Yeah.
So for them, they're coming. It's sort of like meeting at an equilibrium. This team is well up for it, and Man United aren't quite as good as they were. So I don't know. It's a sticky one. I think they've got a lot of injuries, but you can only rely on that for so long after you spent nearly £1 billion as well. You've got to have some sort of depth. I know Amrabat was playing like left back and then centre back and centre mid.
I think Luke Shaw being out is quite a understated but big miss for them.
I think he's back soon. I think Wan-Bissaka's back soon, which would be interesting. Even though I don't mind Dalot.
Yeah. I think Dallow's been one of their best players recently.
Martinez being out is a miss.
Not ideal, yeah. Mason
Mount's just coming back, isn't he? Højlund's still probably trying to get right up to that match fitness.
I think they need goals. I think they're only on like 6 or 7 goals this season, which is, for Man United, so poor. Højlund, no Premier League goals. Martial, no Premier League goals.
Yeah, but Martial's
Rashford, 1 Premier League goal. Anthony, no Premier League goals. Your front line needs to be delivering more than that. We're talking about Chelsea not getting enough goals, but this is worse.
They've also got a lot of big chances created this season.
Even in
Bruno's been putting up numbers.
Even in this Sheffield United game, they had about 4 or 5 clear-cut opportunities that they missed.
Yeah, it's strange. I think I saw a tweet I thought it was hilarious. It was a compilation of Elanga this season.
Oh,
and it was like if United were to sign Elanga for 70 million, people said it's a great signing.
If Elanga played at Man United, he'd be their best winger at the moment.
I like it. Forest on a bit of a stinker.
Yeah,
they are 2 to Luton.
Yeah, that is not ideal.
They're stinking. Just saying, they're not the Forest that we saw at the end of last season.
No.
Or even at the beginning of the season when Taiwo Awoniyi was blasting the goals in.
Yeah, we do tend to jinx teams. Like we did some Crystal Palace propaganda last week.
Smashed.
Some Sam Johnston propaganda last week, and they got smashed 4-0. So
yeah, Newcastle are just good though.
Newcastle are very good.
I was listening to Alan Shearer talk about Longstaff and Trippier. And
do you see Murphy. Longstaff after the game was like, I can't go travelling because I'm too busy scoring goals at St James's. Because did you see there was like a
fake tweet
that came out about him going travelling?
Yeah, his brother Matty was released, wasn't he? So
was he?
I think he wants to get. He's trying to get like.
That's so funny.
Mate, if he's half as good as his brother, it'd be a good sign for a lot of championships.
Sean Longstaff got to be playing for England soon, I reckon.
It feels so stacked though.
But I don't think there's anyone that does what Sean Long. Like, do you know we were talking about who did we play alongside Declan Rice?
Yeah.
I'd say he does what Calvin Phillips does, but probably a bit better at the moment. Yeah. Probably hasn't got the range of passing of a Calvin Phillips. But do we need that when we got centre backs of John Stones and
if we go back a week ago before West Ham got slapped 4-1, Ward-Prowse?
Yeah, Ward-Prowse or Sean Longstaff for me. Start alongside Declan Rice.
Got to stop this Big Six agenda.
Yeah, I agree. Because I can't think of anyone else until Charlie Pochettino gets into that Arsenal team and matures. That's who I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it is nice seeing teams like Villa, Brighton, Newcastle see some success because it makes things fresh as well. And it's interesting that we're shaping up to have not just a 1-horse or 2-horse Premier League race at the minute.
Yeah.
We've got Spurs who could be sitting top of the table. We've got Man City who are underperforming every game but still coming out on top and being right up there. Liverpool as well.
Liverpool, good result.
Looking a lot better. Defensively shaky, but, looking...
What's new?
Yeah, I mean, and then Arsenal who are getting results, but...
I don't think we've hit second or third gear this
which
season
is not a bad thing.
I can't think of a game where, like, the whole duration we've been really good. Like, City for the second half, we were really good. Chelsea for the second half.
When have you guys got Liverpool?
Fuck knows, but I hope it's not anytime soon.
Because that's a game I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, but yeah, so we need to pull our fingers out.
Because you've played Man City, you played Tottenham, you played United,
Played Chelsea.
you played Chelsea. So you've even got Liverpool really.
Of the big six, they got Newcastle soon, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, Newcastle, Liverpool will be. Yeah, I mean, it's shaping up to be a nice little Premier League season. It's what we like. We've got no World Cup slapped in the middle of it, which is quite nice.
Indeed.
We do have AFCON, I think, this year, no?
We do, yeah.
Which would be interesting. So
City are the only team in the league to have no players go to AFCON.
Yeah, Liverpool could be
shagged.
Because Salah, in my opinion, best player in the Premier League this season.
There's another team that I was thinking, I can't remember who it is, that could be dusted. But yeah. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for 4K.
Shout out every time. 10K for Christmas, baby.
Yeah, we get 10K before Christmas. Roz will do something mad.
I'll try my best.
He'll try his best. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below.
10K keepy uppies in one video.
And if you drop it, you have to restart. Oh, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do that good stuff. And yeah, stick around because out Friday we've got a goalkeeper ranking video, and it's sure to have some absolute clangers in there.
Bash!
As always. Thank you
Shout
guys.
out Big John.
BoreDraw. Bush.